Okay, let's talk about charisma. Charisma and confidence. So recently I watched this guy's video and he was talking about how his friend is very confident. And he talked about this instance where he was chatting with this girl who works at the gym or something. And he's a kind of guy who's very smooth, very good with people, and his secret was essentially two things. The second one, I'll start with the second one because I want to talk about the first one more. The second one is don't really care about rejection. Just don't bother about it because it will happen and it doesn't mean anything. But the first one is the more interesting one that I'm trying to pay attention to. And that one is have a pure intention. Having a pure intention. That I think is the biggest part of the charisma equation because once you have a pure intention, you automatically care less about rejection because your intention was pure. Your intention is to give and spread positive energy. You want to put smile on people's face, right? And why is that the case? Why is intention so important? So when you think about charisma, at the end of the day, it's all about the vibe someone gives off that makes other people want to be around them, right? It's all about the vibe. Charisma is all about energy. That's all there is to it. We like to talk about verbals, like the things you can say, the conversation tricks, or even the body language and some abilities like analyzing the other person and saying the right thing. But these are just side consequence of a deeper belief, a deeper attitude, which is about pure intention. And you can work on the side consequences. You can try to create certain vocabularies. You can try to be something, but people can see through it. People can feel the insecurity underneath. No matter how well you're dressed, there's something off about you if you don't have this inner game right. So that's why the pure intention is secret. You're gonna have a solid foundation that your charisma, your confidence is gonna build on. And if you think about it, you can also not necessarily have the verbals right. If you're talking about gibberish, but you're coming from a pure good place, if you're coming with a pure heart, then you're gonna come across as someone warm. You're gonna come across as someone confident. You will smile, but you could talk gibberish and people will still feel nice around you, right? Because at the end of the day, people don't remember what you say. People remember how you make them feel. Let that sink into you. People don't remember what you say. People remember how you make them feel. So that's why energy is crucial. So, how do you become someone who's genuinely wants to make other people feel good? How do you feel like, oh, I want to put smile on other people's face? Because in this age and world of obsession with getting, receiving, whatever form it is, attention, validation, success, wealth, whatever. That's what we are obsessed with in this generation. How do we manipulate? How do we say the right thing so that I can get what I want? We're all focused on what I want, but nobody asks, what can I give? How can I give? What can I offer to this person in this moment? And as cliche as it sounds, that seemed to be a fundamental shift that all these charismatic people unconsciously do. They always have this attitude of offering something, offering love, offering support, offering positive energy. Now, my biggest problem with it is that how am I supposed to love others if I don't feel like it? Do you ever feel that way? How am I supposed to love others if I don't feel like it? How can you force love? You can't force love, right? Do I need to pretend to be loving? And pretending also feels wrong. It's just a performance, it's fake, right? Love needs to be genuine. And that is a great question. And a second follow-up is okay, before loving others, ask this from yourself. If I'm unable to feel love for other people, do I even love myself? What is my attitude towards myself? Because my experience has been the case that if you're tough on others, if you're judgmental towards others, you're even more judgmental, more critical towards yourself. Usually, our judgment towards other people is just a projection of our judgment towards ourselves. And we just don't want to admit that. We don't want to admit that. And we are not aware of our judgments towards ourselves. It's unconscious. You just feel this slight dissatisfaction all the time, and you never know why. You never can't quite a finger on the reason why. And this is the reason why, because we are critical towards ourselves. So, what is the solution here? How can I be loving if I don't feel like loving others? And the solution is incredibly simple. You gotta be loving by being loving. The solution is right in front of our face that we don't really see it. And we just go straight to whatever we're trying to do. As hard as it sounds, we're just gonna have to start with by being loving, by cultivating love. And that starts with yourself and others, but I would emphasize yourself. You have to start with yourself. So now you might be surprised, but for some reason, confidence and charisma is connected with self love. Such an interesting connection, isn't it? It's the kind of connection that you would never think, but it is actually true the more you think about it. The more you love yourself, the more you're going to radiate that energy to others, and others are going to feel loved. At the end of the day, this is how I feel. We think we can hide our emotions, right? But we are just really bad at it. Whatever we are feeling inside, we're always radiating it. So it is the most fundamental question, the most important thing to love yourself. Now, there's a lot of follow up questions. How do I even love myself? Why would I even love myself? What does it even mean to love myself? How does that even look like? What does love even mean? You keep talking about love, love, love. It's such an abstract concept, right? So these are all amazing questions, and I got some help from ChatGPT, and I think it's giving a very valid answer, and I love the perspective, and I want to share it. These days, I've been using ChatGPT a lot. By the way, it's so poetic, it's so smart. I know it's getting really, really good. Anyways, here's what it says. I asked it, why would I love myself, right? It said, because you're the only one who lives with you. Every moment, every failure, every quiet thought. Because you survived more than you give yourself credit for. Because beneath all the fear, shame, ambition, and stories, there's a being trying to live well. You don't love yourself because you're perfect. You love yourself because you're human, because you're trying, because you feel. That's beautiful, isn't it? And I asked it, why don't I allow myself to love myself? It said, because you failed, then everyone has failed. Because you have hurt people, of course, you're not part of it, but that regret is part of your conscience. Because you haven't become someone, you already are someone. There's no such thing as finish line. There's never finish line. It's always a work in progress. The voice that says you're not enough because of that, that voice isn't the truth. I think it is beautifully described. I like the way it says, you are the only one who lives with you this whole time. So you're gonna need to learn to enjoy your company because that's where you're gonna spend time with 24/7 pretty much. And this is also tapping into how we criticize ourselves because we put conditions on ourselves, right? Because we failed to reach our expectation, because we haven't become someone. These are always the fake reasons, the fake excuses for us to be tough on ourselves. And these are not valid. None of these are valid. As you can see, everyone fails, everyone makes mistake. We're all trying to become someone. When if we're waiting for that perfect moment to start loving ourselves, that would never happen, right? The perfect moment is always now. You have no reason to not love yourself in this very moment. Even if your inner voice is saying to yourself you're not enough, you can still be gentle towards yourself. Just become aware of your thoughts and emotions and accept yourself. Okay, that is how I'm feeling towards myself. I see it clearly. Let's talk about one of the other questions. What does it mean to love yourself? What does it mean to love yourself? ChatGPT also says to treat yourself like someone you're responsible for caring for. To treat yourself like someone you're responsible for caring for. We all have our people who are close to us that we love. We, if we imagine what is our attitude towards those people, just take one person as an example. I'll take my mom for an example. Then you know what it means to love. You don't need to look for the definition elsewhere. You treat that person as if they are someone worth protecting, encouraging, and respecting, right? And wouldn't you fight for that person? Wouldn't you care for that person? Wouldn't you make sure that she's not suffering, he or she is not suffering? And it's always rooted in the idea that I'm not alone. That person is not alone. You're not alone. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. And it's easier to imagine this kind of attitude towards someone we love. But why is it so hard to imagine such attitude towards ourselves? Isn't that interesting? Why don't we fight for ourselves, care for ourselves, make sure that we're doing well, make sure we have the proper food, the proper rest, proper exercise? It's okay to sometimes take things slow. Why don't we allow ourselves to rest, to recharge? Why don't we fight for our highest possibilities? Because we only live once and we don't have that much time on earth, to be honest. And I think fundamentally, being loving, it can arise from awareness and curiosity. Let me explain. I think being loving at the end of the day requires empathy. Empathy towards others and empathy towards ourselves, which is kind of a weird way of saying. But, anyways, I would just say empathy towards yourself. And it starts with being observant, becoming aware. Just observe yourself and others. And you don't need to force yourself to feel certain emotion, other than just observe and see what arises. Especially if you observe other people when they're feeling emotions, that is a good time to observe the facial expressions, the micro expressions. If you really look at people when they're excited, when they're sad, even just day to day, just when they're going about their day, doing their day to day job or whatever, just taking a walk on the street, and have an attitude of curiosity. That's the second part. Awareness plus curiosity. Become aware and become curious. I wonder what is going through their head. I wonder where this person is going, how he's spending his day. Oh, that person just gave this person a fist bump. I wonder if he knows that person. I wonder what his day to day life look like. I wonder what he's feeling right now, you know? I think at these moments, love can arise spontaneously. Because at the end of the day, love is letting go of all the resistance, the negative judgments towards others and yourself, right? And also, love comes from understanding the fundamental human condition. If you ask ourselves, what does it mean to be human? It is such a good question. What does it mean to be human? I think what makes us human is our emotions, for sure. That differentiates our us from other species. We are deeply emotional creatures, and that also gives us an interesting area to explore. We can ask ourselves what drives us, what moves us, what is the underlying motivation behind everyone. That's an interesting question, because if you can tap into it, if you can give others what they need, what they want to feel, then they feel happy, they feel good around you, right? And what is the answer to this question? We know the answer. We should just ask the question ourselves. What do I want to feel? What drives me? It's all the same for everyone. It's all the same. The deep underlying desire is same. And people have different way of conceptualizing those deep desires. Maybe they think it's through wealth, fame, spirituality, personal development, whatever it is. It's the same. People all want to feel safe and comfortable around you. People want to feel understood. People want to feel appreciated. People want to feel connected. People want to feel like they're part of something. Nobody wants to feel isolated. It's deep in our DNA that we've always belonged to a tribe, and that's how we want to feel. And looking through this deep desire, there's just something very human about emotions. That's why I like art, paintings, movies, music. They remind you your fundamental human conditions, your human qualities, your human emotions, uniquely human emotions. I think that makes it much easier to love others when we start seeing all the different kinds of emotions in others and in ourselves, if that makes sense. Okay, this is what I wanted to say in this talk, and hope I think I proposed more questions than answers. I mean, I did provide simple answers, but I would urge you to focus on the quality of the questions. I think there was a lot of interesting questions I asked, like what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to love yourself? What does love even mean? How do I love myself? I think if we can answer these questions very well, and if we take the right actions, appropriate actions, then loving others is easy. Confidence is easy. Charisma is easy. So let's start with these building blocks, and I hope you have a good time. Thank you.